This is a podcast about a group of local musicians, and they've got a new record coming out. The name of the band is Saruna, and Saruna consists of 5 extremely talented musicians, and they've got a record coming out that has been a 4+ year labor of probably every emotion you could probably conjure up, and it's about to come out. And I thought it'd be kind of cool just for you guys to get to know these guys, find out who they are, why they are, and how they came together. First of all, my name is Steve Mortland. I share the last name with one of the members of the group. I'll let you guys figure out who that is. And let's start with him. Alex Mortland is up first. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. To be honest with you, I had spent a fair amount of time today trying to figure out some way to put your baby pictures that I have on my computer behind me so everyone could see you back in your prime.
Right on. Poopy draws.
His poopy draws and
underoos.
Yeah.
I could arrange that.
Oh, yeah.
I could arrange that.
Yeah, you could.
We don't have to dig through the archives. Like I can.
Yeah, just hold them up. Hold them up. But let's start with you. And I could go on. I mean, I obviously could tell your story, but you tell your story.
My story is that I am a guitar player, songwriter, musician, music teacher person who comes from Lake Stevens, Washington, where I grew up with a certain Stephen Mortland, among others.
Among others.
I was an innocent child until 1995 when something bit me. It was the post grunge wave, I suppose. Not the immediate big deal wave of grunge, but kind of the afterbirth of grunge was what captured me. And so in 1995, I can't recall exactly what drove me to do this, but I came up to you. Actually, it was you.
Yep.
And I said, I'd like to learn how to play guitar. And you said, cool. So there began a weekly routine of you bringing me in for guitar lessons in lovely scenic Snohomish, Washington, for about a year until my amazing teacher came to you and said, He spends every lesson telling me what he learned on his own this week, so I think I'm done with him. So
his exact words were, "There's nothing more I can do with him."
From there, it's been a pretty full life of music ever since. There's been passion projects along the way. There's been for the money gigs along the way. There's been good times, there's been bad times, but the situation that I found myself in since 2013 has been this one, and I don't think there's any summing this up. Definitely not in an offhand kind of a way, but this is absolutely the most fulfilling band project of my entire life. And here we are about to throw down the fruits of our labor.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Woogie D, I'm on drums. I joined with Saruna in 2015, I'm pretty sure. And it's been a fun ride ever since. How I got in the band was we did a couple of pleasure project gigs at the Sea Monster. And then the guys and girl asked me to be the drummer. And so here I am. And I love this band. I've done a handful of shows with Saruna, and immediately after, people come up to me and say, "Oh, I didn't know you could rock out like that." And the funny thing is, when I was a youngster, first of all, I'm probably the only one that isn't from Washington State. I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, and I moved here in 1996. But in my teenage years, I started out in rock bands. And a lot of people don't know that about me. All they see me in is like my other band, Funky to Death. And so they think, oh, he's a straight funk guy. It's like, yeah, I love funk and stuff too, but I also grew up on rock. You know, when I first saw Woodstock when I was about 7 or 8 years old on PBS, and I saw Santana, Sly, and Jimmy, and it just blew my mind. As a 7 and 8 year old, I borrowed my neighbor's Are You Experienced album, and I might still have it. Oops. I learned how to play the album front to back in the basement. And I lived in a housing project, so I'm sure I pissed all my neighbors off as a youngin'. Like playing Jimmy loud and stuff like that. But it's great to be in a band with everybody in this band is a virtuoso, and I'm still learning as I go.
Oh, nice compliment to you all.
It's I love it. I love the project. There was a period where I listened to it 2 weeks in a row, like, wow, I can't believe this is me playing drums. And I'm just honored that I get to drive the bus, so to speak.
Next up is the singer of the band, Krista Wells. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so full of just excitement and joy hearing all this love pouring out. I'm just, woof. I feel the same way. I can't believe I get so lucky as to feel the same way at the same time. Anyway, so I am from California, Woogie. I think you know that. I was born in LA. I grew up.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I lived all over California, but I spent my formative years in San Diego, beach culture. Right. And I moved up here to go to college, and I saw Sky Cries Mary at the Hub Ballroom, and I saw Larry Steiner dancing, and I was like, what is going on? Live music like this. I mean, my first concert was the Jackson 5 Victory Tour.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like I hadn't seen amazing music, and I grew up with 80s music and just my love of new wave and all kinds of music. I was listening to Metallica last night going like, this is the song for my car, driving in my car. This is it. It was Metallica with the San Francisco Symphony. It was so epic, Anyway, so I love all types of music. But when I came up here, I kind of was mesmerized by the music scene that was going on. And I was invited to audition to join a band, and I did. And I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I want to do this. And I had a lot of learning to do to be a performer. And it was definitely like diving in the deep end. But, and that was like a rock band, but we did, reggae vibes and, singer-songwriter, folky shit, bluesy stuff. After playing in that band for a long time, I played in another rock band called Give, with the Friel Brothers. I sang with Carrie Ockrey. I was just learning and growing as a musician, and I taught myself how to play guitar. And I felt like I had so much growing to do. And like when Woogie's saying we're all virtuosos, I'm like, no, not really. But, a lot of years of learning and growing and getting to play with just incredible people and getting to try so many different genres of music. I sang trip hop. I put out a couple records with Trick Deck. And that's where I met Kevin Saka. And I played with Kevin Saka for a decade with Kent. That's when Kent and I started playing music together. And we played drum and bass, and like really heavy, beautiful music, really melodic. And we wrote, we're writing songs. I've had other bands too that had records worth of material and that, someone had to move or something. But so it's just been a journey. And when I met Alex, he was kind of this last piece to a gig that was kind of like a one-off to, what was it? Erotic Arts Festival. So I got asked to do the Erotic Arts Festival from my friend Ramiro from Uniting Souls, because I used to play in that DJ scene. And he said, do you want to do a DJ set? Do you want to put together a band? I was like, I want to put together a band. And so, of course, I called Kent. And, of course, I'm like, ooh, we should do you and Jeremy and me and like, ooh, Steve Barcy. And it was a friend of mine. I was like, oh, yeah, I played with him recently. Let's ask him. And that was like, are you kidding me? This would be amazing. And he's like, you know what, though? I think we should have a guitar player. I have just the guy. And I was like, okay, cool, And we got together to just jam, and I knew everybody but Alex, and Alex knew everybody but me. And when we all played together, that was one of the most fun days ever, because we just played so many different things. Anyway, fast forward to all these years later, we've just let that grow and grow and grow, and massaged it and loved it and given it our hearts. And, Steve was too busy to be in the band, but we found Woogie. And that was magical too. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's a dream, It's all just been like an amazing musical dream.
See the thing going here?
This was my dream. It was my dream band that could never be. It was like, if I could just play with these people like once, that would be super great. And then we got to keep playing music together,
Do you recall what our name was for that gig?
Sexy Most Wetness.
It was Krista Wells and the Sexy Most Wetness. When we debuted at the Seattle Erotic Arts Festival at Showbox Soto in November 2013. Krista Wells and the Sexy Most Wetness.
That's ridiculous.
Nice. That's a great name. Next up is Jeremy Lightfoot. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, sir.
And
it's really great to be here. It's so cool to hear my bandmates monologue so well. It's impressive and kind of intimidating, but it's really cool. So, anyway, yeah, I play bass in the band, and let's see, I can relate to Alex, that story you told about your guitar teacher. I was like, that happened to me exactly, only for you it seemed different. For me, I got a call and he said, like, I can't teach you anymore, I got nothing more to show, to tell you. And I was like, I guess I still am, I guess, but I was a really sensitive kid, and I was like, okay. And then I hung up the phone and I just like cried for like an hour. I totally remember, because I felt like I got like dumped, by my guitar teacher. And it's totally funny now, but it's like, whoa, man.
It destroyed you.
But now I'm like, oh, I guess he thought like I didn't need to practice Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin anymore, and I should move on and do my own thing. And it was really cool. So, I ended up getting lessons, from a young age from me and my really good friend Kevin Saka is a drummer, plays in like amazing like worldwide bands now. We met, but we got lessons from this guy Jay Roberts, who's his dad wrote a bunch of like really famous jingles and stuff, and like Father Like Son, amazing guitar player. And we would just sit there and jam, and that's kind of like how I learned how to play. But anyway, yeah, coming a little forward into the future now. We made this record, and somehow I managed to convince everybody in the band that we should like start recording in my living room. I have some microphones and some boxes of gear, and I was like, please, you trust me, it'll be good. Trust me. So, yeah, we just started tracking it. Like, gosh, I don't know, like what, Alex? I saw you say 4 years ago or something in our
2017.
I think we started in 2016, like maybe the tail end.
I think it was 2017.
Yeah, 16, maybe.
Right.
I think it was 17.
I mean, I was reading our GoFundMe, which is on right now, GoFundMe.com, Saruna LP. But yeah, like 4 years, and it's like, wow, it's been that long, and it's like, it's done. And our amazing friend Steve Fisk is mixing it, and he's totally badass, and I can't wait for it to be out.
Is a gentleman by the name of Kent Halverson, who I got to meet a little while ago. That was pretty cool. And Kent, good evening, and welcome to our little show here.
Thanks for having us, man. Yeah, it was really cool having you stop by the other day.
That was cool. That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, I'm Kent. I play keyboards in the band, and hearing everybody else talk just reminds me of how long I go back with everybody. You know, came here from Oroville, Washington, a little town in eastern Washington, and took me 2.5 years to realize I wasn't really cut out for school. So about that same time, I started seeing Krista play at Toast and all these different places, and her and Kevin Saka and I started a band together, Debouge, and it's been a long time playing music with her, so it's really cool to have this album finished and able to kind of look back on that whole journey. And Jeremy, it's funny to think about all of the situations, touring and musical. Can't even think about how many different musical situations have been in. Add that to the fact that Alex and I have been teaching the Music Factory together for how long have you been there, Alex? 10 years?
I think I'm coming up on 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And you would have been a little bit ahead of me, I think.
Just by not much. But, and then with Woogie playing down at the Sea Monster, which if Sea Monster was open, that's where I'd be right after this. You know, that's the place I go no matter what. So it's nice to feel like a family at the same time as making music and not have a lot of the BS that comes along and all the. So 4 years of doing this, you said we've probably felt all the emotions. One thing I haven't felt is terrified or like really mad at somebody, like I'm ready to leave.
Like which one of us isn't one of us about due for like a heroin habit by now, wouldn't you say?
Something.
Like why has nobody gotten around to that yet?
You've been too busy. You got a lot going on.
I'm waiting until I get a little older. Personally, I'm going to probably start that when I turn maybe like 55, 60, something.
I actually heard that about Charlie Watts. Did you hear that? Like he waited until the 80s to become a junkie.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Go,
you got to
Charlie.
give yourself something to look forward to. You know what I mean?
We
You
still
can't
got
just,
some time.
Yeah.
Do everything in your 20s.
You guys are all
and
young.
work forever. Come on.
Was it Little Miss Sunshine or some movie like that where the grandpa said, at your age, kid, you'd be an idiot to do this stuff. At my age, I'd be an idiot not to.
Yeah, that's Alan Arkin, and that's totally where I got this from, obviously.
I love it.
I love Alan Arkin.
Oh, my God. The record basically, like, I guess we consider that like this a band produced record. The engineering basically is Jeremy. Like, Jeremy, he will not say so to your face, but Jeremy is one of the greatest audio engineers in Seattle.
Man,
I mean,
that's
in addition to being the guy that he is and the musician that he is, like, everything that you're hearing on there, that's because of him.
Well,
it's not only down to the equipment that he owns and the fact that he knows how to use it and everything, but it's also just like he understands the psychology of musicians. Like, he knows exactly what to say to me. Like, if I'm on take 15 of a guitar solo and I'm like just about to lose my mind because I cannot get it right. Like, he knows exactly how to respond to that energy and just say like the one magic thing. It could be like just a little fart noise like through my headphones, and like suddenly it's like there it is. That's the magic.
That's a 8-foot bedside manner.
So everything that you're hearing on it thus far has been the band sort of, but Jeremy really. Now it's in Steve Fisk's hands, and Steve is like, there's no somebody else can sum up Steve, but he's taking care of the mixing.
I think Kent would be. I mean, yes. Kent, you work with Steve a bunch, and so have you, Krista. So
yeah, Krista and I know Steve. I mean, Krista probably knows him longer than I have, but I met Steve through Sean Smith and him and Sean's band Pigeonhead. And that's some of my favorite music that ever came out of Seattle, as far as the way it's produced, the way Sean just sings in general. But I didn't really realize at the time that I was working for Mock-Tube that he mixed the first Mock-Tube record, produced and mixed the second one. Those are also two of my favorite Seattle albums. And then he recorded and produced two songs, early Nirvana, before they were famous songs, and I can't go through the whole list, but those are like the highlights for me. You know, I was just listening to Mock-Tube earlier, getting ready for these final mixes that Steve's going to give to us.
Wow. One thing that I'm going to be doing with this project here is kind of mixing in some snippets of songs off of the stuff that Alex sent me. And Woogie, we'll start with you. If I got to pick one song to put on what we're doing, as a completed project for this, what would it be? And that will give the rest of you time. I'm putting Woogie on the spot, but it'll give the rest of you time to kind of ponder that one.
If I had to pick one song from the project?
Yeah. One song that to you has got a lot of meaning that you really dig.
I would say All Hearts.
All Hearts. Okay, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, because I've never played a song in 7/4 before until now. So that one was the one, and it's just a blast playing it.
Explain 7/4.
7/4 time.
Okay.
Like the average song is 4/4 time. This one's in 7/4.
Oh, okay. So there's Go
I
ahead.
think it's what you could.
So it's
think
like
of a
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I've never played a song in 7/4 time until this one.
So all hearts.
And yeah, so during the show, that's like a highlight for me. I get jazz playing that one, and I like "Call the Rain" a lot as a close second.
Okay, Call the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, sir. Krista, how about you?
Oh, well, I'm going to agree with Woogie, really.
Okay.
I love both of those songs so much, and they are on the newer side of stuff that we've written. We've written stuff after that, but they're kind of like, for me, they were both turning points in our journey as far as just what we could do together as a band versus pieces that we had maybe brought in. Now I'm trying to think. All Hearts. No, those are both really fresh. Alex probably brought whatever he brought from All Hearts. I don't know where that came from musically, but that was something that we really wrote together. And I just love that process that has emerged for us as a band. And everybody that was when I was like, these songs are going to be crazy amazing because they were feeling so new and like they were just feeling really authentic to who we were. So yes, those two are both really, really special for me too.
Okay. How about Jeremy?
I'm going to have to sort of agree with Krista and Woogie. I'll just say like Call the Rain. For me I'm going to go with Call the Rain on that one because it has Foley. There's literally Foley in it. There's like some rain sounds and I'm a fan of Foley. And then, it's just the song develops and blossoms in like the most amazing way. And like everybody like crushed it on their performances. And like when I listen to it, I get like hair standing up on the back of my neck sometimes. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. Kent.
Well, everybody took my answers. So,
damn them.
No,
Good band meeting.
So yeah, I'm pissed.
Now they're coming out. Now it's coming out.
Well, and I'm trying not to think of like, oh, what's my favorite song on the record, but like I think it was like, what should I play to some? I think I'd like to add "Torn" to that list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It means so much to what
I like that one.
the country's been going through, but then this year, but also, and for its whole history actually, but also it's our first single off the album. So there you go.
Okay.
Right on.
Alex.
Nice.
Let's see. I love the way Krista summed up her choices by way of saying that that All Hearts and Call the Rain were like written directly for the band. There's quite a bit of stuff on this album, which kind of the way that this album strikes me is that it's two things. It sounds as though it was aimed originally. Well, maybe it sounds this way to me because I know the blueprint behind the thing, I guess, but it sounds as though it was originally intended for the sake of like having just a really killing like live set. You know, it like when I look at it as like a whole piece, it looks as though like a lot of it was kind of written with that mostly in mind, I suppose. So, so that, and also there's several songs on this first record that are, what's the word? Like musically, they originated as, I don't want to say leftovers from previous bands, but kind of castaways from previous bands. Like I had a couple of things that I brought to the table, which originally had the same music, but originally had a different set of lyrics and melodies, etc. So I brought my side of those songs to the table, and then Krista would contribute her lyrics and melodies to it. So I would say it's about halfway material along those lines, like songs that Krista and Kent had written together for the previous project, Debouche, things that I brought on the table for previous bands. But there's also another half, which is songs that were written during the process of both our finding out what kind of band we ultimately are, and others that were written a little closer to like having arrived at not a decision about what kind of band we are, but more of a sense of that, I guess. So in that direction, I guess I would say The Growing Edge and All Hearts, definitely. And I really, really like Breath and Bone. Like, all of those just feel like us, and that they were written with us in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm particularly stoked on The Growing Edge, because we've never actually played that live before. It like became what it is exclusively in the studio, and that's a direction that I'm looking forward to continuing as we get started on the next album too. It's like seeing what can blossom purely in the studio. I mean, not without total regard for how it'll work in a live setting, but without that being like the first priority, I guess.
When do we get to do that?
Because I'm looking forward to seeing how The Growing Edge, how we're going to play it live, because I have no idea.
Yeah, that one was cool because we were in the middle of recording one song and started that one. It was like, oh, this is going somewhere. All right, let's put this down. And right in the middle of another song, put down The Growing Edge. That was cool.
And it's
arranged it together. Thinking, oh, what about this? What if we do this one an extra time, and blah, blah, blah. And those were all parts that Jeremy put together, but it was really cool to have the band have a consensus as it's growing into what it became. And I remember, Woogie, when you heard the lyrics on it, it had been a while, and you thought, oh, wow, we did that. Or I can't remember how you put it, but it's like, I can't even remember playing those drums.
Exactly, because it was so... I think we did it in one take, if I'm not mistaken. It was just so organic like that. It's like Jeremy ran it, and we were sitting there arranging. Okay, now this part. Now do it again. Break it down. You know, it was that organic, and that was probably the coolest moment in the studio.
Wow, that is so cool. One thing I did want to mention, and Alex knows this. I had a radio show that I did for many, many years, and stopped doing it about 4 or 5 years ago. And I always wanted to have, whenever we come back in from a break, back into the show, and you always play music, I always wanted to have some of Alex's music on this radio show I did. So I asked him to send me, and this is probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer, send me some stuff that he just had that I could use. And he sent me the song Our Love. And I used that song probably for 2 years. Every show I would always play a little bit of it. And the reason I bring that up is I really liked the different version that you guys are putting on this record. I at first I thought, well, no, this is a song. I know it is. I've listened to it a zillion times, but there's something different about it. And the more I got into it, I really liked it. So that had to have been kind of a fun process to go through, to kind of change these things up and add new perspective to them, I guess. Krista?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think it just developed, you know. It's just, you just own something a little bit more. You see what's possible after you get to step back and look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being able to do those songs with the current lineup, obviously that changes the overall groove, putting a Woogie finally being on, and then that's one of the ones we got Skerrick on, right?
Oh, hell yeah. I was going to wait. We got to mention Skerrick because, man, oh my God. He came in and just like played the best saxophone. I'm not, I'll be honest here, and you might hate me for saying this. I don't love the saxophone.
What?
But what Skerrick does, I love it, and I want to possess it. And
How
I want
dare you?
And I want to roll in it. I mean, it's just like the best thing ever. So like, and oh my God, it totally crushes on that song. So.
Yeah, when it's done right, it's not bad, huh?
But that I'm not sure if you're familiar with Skerrick by name, but I saw just this morning you were posting some Les Claypool videos on Facebook.
Yeah,
Skerrick, in addition to being Krista's significant other, Skerrick is a member of Les Claypool's band, and among practically every other thing you could ever imagine.
Wow,
cool. He hired me to write his biography for his press release materials, like right before COVID hit, of course. And he sent me this list of everybody he was playing with, and I I had been aware of him by reputation for at least a few decades, but like I had no idea, like really. So long story short, we have him on 2 tracks on the album, and one of those is that extended version of Our Love. Like basically, you hear him on certain parts of the chorus, and then in that new extended kind of psychedelic Dixieland thing that happens in the middle of it. That's pretty much all him. And he was courteous enough to let me boss him around in the studio.
So as we record this, we're just wrapping up the first week of March, and I want to kind of get into what the process is going forward from like tomorrow to when this thing finally comes out and people can get it and listen to it and enjoy it and make you guys famous. Alex, maybe you might be the good one to talk to about this. What's in the near future?
Oh, well, what's happening right now is we are running a campaign on GoFundMe. Mm-hmm. We had a nice little nest egg built up from live shows over the years, and that has tapped itself out with paying for the mixing and the what's it and the who's it. So if kind and generous souls are inclined to contribute in exchange for some awesome goodies and awesome rewards,
yes,
you can go to the GoFundMe website. If you search for, I think it's just look for the word Saruna on the GoFundMe website. There are little links that I'm sure we'll put up wherever this broadcast is hosted. And we're raising our money to take care of the mixing and the mastering, to get the artwork done, to get the physical copies, the CDs, and we just decided today that we're going to put it out on vinyl, which
good.
Mind about. So excited. I was hoping that would be part of the thing, and it's part of the thing. So it's it looks like I expect that this will be out. I don't want to put a pin in it, but yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing I want to talk about in a second, but I'm not going to put a pin in it, but it feels to me like this will be like a late summer, early fall kind of a thing. Now, what I love about the way that we've done this, when Jeremy a little bit ago summarized the process, is like he was having to convince us to do things in his living room and to take our time. In retrospect, like I am so glad we did it that way, because when we first got started on the recording, like I was definitely coming fresh off the anxiety of a couple of failed projects, and those failed projects were driven into the ground by a ton of just artificial anxiety from people who just, well, what the hell? I told people that we're going to have an album out, 3 weeks ago. Let's go. And so that certainly didn't make the records any better. And didn't actually result in any records ever coming out. But it also ended up being the death of the band. So the fact that we've got 5 people here that were so cool about like just taking our time and collectively saying like, really, like, what is the damn hurry? Like, this is our legacy, and like we can't shortchange it because we're nervous about, it should have been out 3 weeks ago. So like I said, I'm not going to put any pin in it, but it looks to me like this will be ready to see the world in another couple of months.
Oh, very cool. Now,
and on stage, I always joke around and tell people that it's coming out either Easter Sunday or 4th of July.
That's
that's my running timetable.
Yeah.
Sure.
How would they be able to receive this? You buy MP3s, or are you going to be having it in record stores? What's left of record stores? Website stuff.
We're going to be selling the physical product at our live shows because it looks like live shows are coming back. Perfect timing for when this thing is going to come out. We're going to make sure that there's copies in local record stores. We're working on a new website to be announced, and you'll be able to buy the record there. We're going to make sure that it's hosted on streaming services. Bandcamp is a great place to go. They are the most legit as far as supporting local musicians. So we do have a Bandcamp account right now. Actually, if you look for Saruna on Bandcamp, you can get a single edition of Torn, which was being discussed earlier. That was released a couple of months ago in response to some pretty horrific occurrences in our country. So that's currently up for sale and for download, with 50% of proceeds going to the Seattle chapter of Black Lives Matter.
Very cool.
So that's available right this second. Encourage everybody to go check that out. And the full length album will be on Bandcamp as well.
Very cool. Well, as we start to wind this thing down, one thing that I've been kind of writing notes here on, and been crossing them off as we kind of go over them. The one thing I have not crossed off yet is the word respect. And for the last, as we've been doing this 42 plus minutes, I have come away with nothing but respect for you guys, for what you've accomplished, what you're about to accomplish. But what impresses me even more is the respect that you all have for you all. And that, quite honestly, gives an old guy like me the hope that, there is still that out there. Because so much goes on that tends to prove to us that it's not out there. And people who listen to this, I hope they kind of come away with that. It's cool to see a group of people that genuinely care for each other and genuinely respect each other and enjoy each other's companies. And I remember telling Alex early on, musicians are flakes. And each one of you know that I'm 100% correct. But you guys are not. And you're the exception to the rule. And you need to know that. And I'm very proud of Alex, obviously you, but all of you for being his friend. He picks his friends very carefully. And you guys know that. You guys are good people, and that's why. Closing thoughts? Anybody?
We are all so blessed and fortunate. Thank you so much. That's just
no doubt. I'm looking forward to doing more shows with Saruna and promoting the project and getting it into people's hands, and hopefully they'll enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it. So let's do this.
I agree. Anyone else?
Looking forward to seeing you guys out there in person at a show. Sweaty, hot, maybe a little buzzed. It's going to be a good time.
Impressed with your beard?
Oh, it's going to be gone by then.
Oh, no.
Okay, just kidding.
Sell the money. You might be able to put it into the band.
You got to share with me your recipe, man. I'm trying to grow a beard. I can't grow no hair on my head, so I got to grow a beard. So I'm working on it.
Looking good, Wood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ken, your thoughts?
I think you summed it up. I love it's family, man. I like when the whole thing about it taking our time, that couldn't have worked without it being family.
Right.
Somebody sitting there cracking the whip. So, yeah, I love everybody in the band and stoked that you had us on.
I'm honored to do it. Alex, we started with you. We'll finish with you. Take us out of here.
If there's anything I'm looking forward to more than seeing this this thing come to the light, it's getting to discover what the next one is going to sound like and feel like, and the next one after that, and the next one after that. Like if this is our starting point, then holy fuck.
Well said.
Well, we'll end it with that. Thank you very much, guys. I would like to do this again, maybe after, say like around May, June, somewhere in there, when it's had some reaction, and we'll see how it goes. So thank you very much for listening. Again, they've kind of told you throughout this how you can help if you want to get behind this band and help out the good guys. Go back and rewind this and listen to it again, and they'll have links up on it too. Again, my name's Steve Mortland. Thank you very much, Alex Mortland, Woogie D, Kent Halverson, Crystal Wells, and Jeremy Lightfoot, the band Saruna. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.